What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Dragon Lair. Thanks for coming by and watching. Um, Again, we're back with some more game development with Unreal Engine. Working on my own personal project. And let's see, yesterday um, we were working on, well, we we fixed the equipment system, then we broke it, and we had to fix it again. But we got it working now. Um, and so one of the things that I needed to do now that I have that system working is really I kind of needed to fully test it out and make sure that everything's going to kind of work correctly with it. So one of the things that I want to do is I need to bring in some more assets um, for each of those slots. Um, and I ran into a little bit of an issue. Some of my assets are just strictly static meshes, which by itself is fine. There's nothing wrong with static mesh items. But my current system for my items is built around skeletal meshes. So I have a couple different options. I can either A, add in the ability to include static meshes in the pickup system as far as the attachment, as far as equipping and unequipping items. I can create another attached system strictly to deal with static meshes, or the one option I'm going to investigate today a little bit is I'm going to look at converting my static meshes into blank skeletal meshes, um, and then just using the existing system that's already in place. If that doesn't work, then we'll kind of follow down that rabbit hole and see, what we have to do to either add the capabilities for static meshes into the existing system or just create another system to deal with the static meshes um, as far as the equipment goes. Um, there's pros and cons and drawbacks. Um, I've been kind of thinking about this while I was at work today. Um, so what are the kind of the trade-offs? Um, Generally speaking, static meshes are more engine and rendering intensive, simply because it has a skeletal mesh attached to it, associated with it. Whereas a static mesh is just a static item. Um, it's, it's it's not as resource heavy. So there's a lot of pluses in that regard. Um, However, in order to make that work, I either have to convert the existing system to add in the ability for static meshes, which is complicated. Um, the existing equipped weapon system, we're adding a skeletal mesh component and we're setting it. Um, I would then have to do the exact same process here, except I would have to duplicate that and or run a check and run code specific for static meshes, as well as adding the static mesh to the system. Um, risks in this is overcomplicating the code, um, and possibly breaking something that works just to add another new feature or function to it. That always kind of sucks. Um, Not to mention, this system is really built for the weapons. Um, it's not that I can't, make it useful for everything else. It's just this wasn't built with that in mind. Um, as far as adding in a static mesh into this. So, trying to convert the existing to use a static mesh adds more chinks in the chain, so to speak. Um, the other option is, of course, what I started to kind of do yesterday, which was create a equipment attached system, which is basically identical to the weapon attached system, except it's for static meshes only. Um, and that can work. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's just basically making two completely separate systems to do essentially the same function. Um, and I may run into an issue where I have to somehow I have to tell everything whether or not it's a weapon or if it's an equipment item. I kind of already have that built in already into my item info structure. So that's not that big of a deal. But again, I don't want to overcomplicate it. Um, and the more code you have in things, the more bugs you introduce, or potential for bugs, um, and more failure points. Um, so you want to try to keep everything as streamlined as you can, at least from my experience, anyway. So after kind of contemplating this whole equipment equipment gear system and unequipped gear system, um, and converting all of this to deal with static meshes only and not weapon systems and things like that. Um, Before I go down that rabbit hole, adding a whole new set of functions, I want to look into just converting my static meshes into skeletal meshes and just try to use the existing framework that I've already built out. Um, I can just see that this, setting up the equipped gear system, I can just see how it can go wrong. And if it goes wrong, then it's going to affect multiple systems. Um, Whereas if I can keep everything in the existing system, might work out a little better, a little smoother, and a little easier, and I don't have to make a whole lot of coding changes. Um, so that's what I want to do today. Um, so I am going to, let me see here. I need to for equipment. No, that's special. Okay. Models, equipment items. This is my static mesh. So I'm need to see if I can export it. we go. Export and put it on the desktop. New. Let's call this static to skeletal. Okay. So now to import an asset, select that helmet. Oh, whoops. No to all. Hold on. Because it's got the same exact name, so. Skeletal mesh. Import. And we're going to make this a skeletal mesh, but because I don't have a skeleton for it, I'm going to leave it as none. The only thing that that will mean is because it doesn't have a skeleton associated to it, it means I can't animate it, and I don't care about that. Animation, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, import. All right. The hell is that? Interesting. All right, so we got it now. We now have it as a skeletal mesh. Um, and of course it crashed. I have a terrible time with importing things. Some, oh, trying to do two of them. Three of them? What the hell's going on here? Okay. I don't know how many of these damn things I have going. Try this one more time. Okay. Now, don't know if that actually imported or not. No. Okay. Because, like I said, for some reason, my Unreal Engine has issues with importing things at times. Skeletal mesh. I don't need a physics asset. Don't need animations. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't crash on me now. Let's see. Load this. Okay. And it's using this for the texture. So now I didn't have in the original file, it didn't have this model. It didn't include a material. The material, it was baked into item, so it didn't, when it was imported, it did not, and I think it just crashed again. Yep, you're deducted. I did click save all, so hopefully it's still there on the restart. And hopefully let's close that for right now. Okay. To find. Now, of course, the problem is that since I don't have a material, kind of hard. Uh, course, here my headset goes again, trying to mess with me. Um, Gotta go for like a OD green kind of color here. Like I said, I'll have to. None of this is going to be permanent anyway, and I'm actually kind of debating on whether I really want to go into this aspect of it all, as far as look at this one. Where does this texture? It's definitely not great, but maybe I can just reuse it. God damn it. It really does not like me doing this for some reason. And I don't know why it's throwing such a fit about it. What, did it crash already? Mm. I just throwing a fit about this model. Okay. Nope, it's gonna crash again. Yep. And here it goes. I think this is a DX11 issue. Alright, let's. Sorry to have to go through all this, but I'm going to try to update my drivers. Didn't really want to, but we will try that and see if that sorts it out. Let's close all rail down. I'm not sure why it's giving me so many problems now. Ever since I imported that model, really doesn't like it. I should say, ever since I converted static mesh to a skeletal mesh and re-imported it, does not like it. Man, I don't know why. So, yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of just updating the drivers, sometimes it's not. It really shouldn't because there's been no update on Unreal side. So I'm pretty positive the issue is just in something with me importing that converted mesh. But one of the things that I was thinking about, to be honest, was I could save myself a lot of extra effort for the time being in just starting the character out with, like your plate carrier, his helmet, weapons belt, boots. And then I don't have to worry about as many assets in the game right now. The only thing I would still need to do though is I have to do a backpack because I do want to have like 3 different size backpacks. Because that will control the size of their inventory. So I definitely want that.